These are some bottles that I've made. I'll just show you how I did it. This is a finish, just finishing this one off. It's going to need a little bit more fettling once it dries a little bit better, but that's a bottle. These are going to have a chino glaze on them with some 4 shells and the Temako with finger wipe. So just tidying that up. This is a virtually dry sponge. You don't want to be putting a wet sponge onto hand-built stuff. It just washes all the top particles away. So it's almost dry. It's got more clay in it than it has water, this sponge, but it finishes things off nicely. Okay, so that's the one bottle. Going back over there with the other 3. The way I've done it is I threw a cylinder, with no bottom in it, take it off the wheel and then form it into a square, just using the paddle. Then I've added a base, strips of rolled out some clay, so I've added the base on there. I've shown you how to do that before, putting into it well. So that's the base ready. I've thrown almost like a lid, and I've reformed the neck of the bottle. Just near the end there, and just line it up, making sure it's in the middle. Mark it. I was, and I still plan on making a mould for these, but I'm not decided what shape I want yet. And I think with a mould, you're stuck with what you can make out of it. I'm just roughly cutting this on the outside. It's still a bit soft, this, but I thought I'd show you anyway. So there's the lid. Cut. And we'll trim it off a little bit more accurately. Oops. The other ones have gone on swimmingly, but the minute you get on camera, everything goes to pot, as I say. Like that not being in the centre. That's simply done. Let's transfer that to there. Okay, that's the theory behind it. You just use slip I'll cut this bit out because it's boring. Score the top. Score the piece to be added. Always conscious when I'm filming that I get bored and switch off. That's what I do when I'm watching videos and they go on forever. Fast forward. I think we're in the age of fast forwarding TV programs. So why should YouTube videos be any different? some slip. This is just slip out my tray from when I'm throwing these pieces. Surfaces. I think once I decide on a shape for these bottles, proportions, etc., I'll probably make a mould. I'm liking the variety at the moment. Okay, this is the important bit. Don't fast forward through this bit. If you just move it backwards and forwards slightly once you put it together, you'll feel it bite and it won't move anymore. Same at the sides, on this end here. It's moving now, look, and then suddenly it just bites. And then what we do is, like I've shown you before, cut quite deeply into this corner. That way you're mixing the particles of the two pieces of clay together. You're not just smoothing the edge off. If you just smooth the edge like that, when it dries it'll just split, or when it fires it'll split. I'll show you this way. Just cut deeply into it. It's only clay, you can just always put it back afterwards. And what you're doing is you're mixing the two pieces of clay together so they become one piece of clay. If you do it properly like this, you're never ever going to get it split. See there, it's quite vicious with it in it, really. Keep your fingers out of the way. It's just a bit of hacksaw blade. Sharpened. That's it, me around the other side. Cross hatch it. Right. Now it's just a question of smoothing the edge, mixing it a bit more. What can tend to happen if you don't get it nice and neat beforehand, before you do this cross hatching, is you can get a bulge there, and no matter how much you smooth it, you always get a ridge in it. So it's best to scrape it off first, like that, and then we can smooth it in a bit more. And the top. Oops. Smooth the top with a flat edge. Sometimes with all the chopping about, this corner here tends to fall out, but there's plenty of clay you can rebuild it with. Okay. Right, you need to take a bit of time at this point here. What I do is keep using the paddle, and that smartens up the edge of it, as you can see. I like a rounded corner, so you just tap it round. Tap it, that gives you a nice sharp edge, and you can smooth it. Dry sponge. Now you can work on this as much as you want and get it perfect. I don't particularly like it perfect. If it's perfect, like I say, you make a mould out of it and make it out of plaster first and get it spot on, and then it just looks like something you bought from IKEA, doesn't it? So I reach a point where I say, right, that's enough. take out all the glaring marks. Just need a little tiny bit on there. That's got it. And that's it, half done. Do the other half now, not bore you with it. And there are the bottles I've done so far. I think this lid, this one here is too tall. Aesthetically it's too tall, I think. That one there is probably the best, although I do quite like that one. So it's all a question of what looks right, really. But I think I'm going to have to trim this one, the bottleneck, down a bit more, because it looks like a chimney pot on top of a toy house. And we've got this one here that's almost finished. A close up of that, the way I've joined that together. Really give it a bit of welly. Get cut right into it, and that way you're never going to have anything split. Okay, more next time.